Hey guys, it's your boy Pat. Welcome back to the next episode of the Hollowed Down Cigar Lounge. Got a face you haven't seen in a while. Mr. Brett is back. So finally doing an in-person show again. I know y'all have seen a lot of remote shows lately, which is badass because it's letting us stay rolling. Our schedules have been absolutely terrible for the last several months.
Comically opposite.
About the last 4 or 5 months, we've crossed paths sometimes in a work setting, and that's a bit about it. Yeah. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But here we are. So, we figured since we actually had some time to bring him back on the show and shoot some shit with you guys, smoke a cigar, do the things that we love to do. So, we are going to talk about the smoke we're doing today. This is La Aurora. I'm going to show you guys a video that's not going to do that. So we have learned the light reflects off of everything now that I actually have a good light here. So y'all will see the overlay video of the band. So this is the La Aurora Corojo, or as has been referenced on a few different sites, the 1962 Corojo. And the reason for that is this commemorates, and I'm going to read this off of Famous Smoke because it had a pretty good bit of detail. The 1962 name commemorates La Aurora Cigar's first use of the particular leaf that's in here back in 1962, which I did not know until I looked this up. The Corojo wrapper, they've used Corojo wrapper from different countries over the years, but this one comes from the Dominican Republic. It's also got fillers from Nicaraguan, binder from Ecuador. So it's a 3-country work here.
Yeah, it's good.
Teamwork. So this one is a Robusto. I acquired this one from one of the events. And I'm going to check because as I am saying this, my brain has gone blank of who I got it from. So, you know what? Live video of an idiot here.
I'm just impressed that you still have a database that you can reference.
I will tell you, the smartest accidental thing.
We're on row number 540 as he's searching, just FYI. So
there's 704. Okay, so I got this one. This came from Cigar Fest in October. So not a full year of rest, but several months. So Cigar Fest was Enthusiast Reports. It's actually the Cigar and Spirits Wine and Wine Festival. It's got a really long name. We all just call it Cigar Fest. Anyway, this was at Cigars International in Fort Worth where I physically got this. So, little bit of rest on it. What they say that we should smoke.
It's my favorite part. Let's see what kind of obscure flavors we have up in here. I'm going for sweet potato.
The first thing he asked me when we got here is if we were going to smoke any more leather toast today.
It's never going to be better than leather toast. I mean, like, the bar was set really high.
You're never going to let me live it down either.
Well, I mean, you didn't write it, but
that's fair.
I can't let it go.
Let it go. Medium body expectation with...
My 2-year-old's favorite song right now. Because
what is that?
Let It Go.
Oh, Let It Go.
I've heard it 800 times
you want to sing it?
In the past 4 days. I can sing it from memory, along with
That's scary.
Into the Unknown and All Is Found, and Do You Want to Build a Snowman, and Show Yourself, and Go Away, Anna. Okay, bye. Yeah.
Well, if we want to lose viewers, let's do it.
Rough. Well, they all know. I'm sure several of them know the trauma.
Yes.
All right, let's get back from the trauma. Let's get some sweet potato, whatever else we got in here.
Sweet potato. Let's find it. They expect to have what they call a straight down the middle medium body, with expected notes of earth, some sweet spice, cedar, red pepper, and toasted nuts. Now, I will say this.
Toasted nuts.
Yes. Nuts. Earth and spice, pretty much everybody picks out. Usually you have spice or pepper. They're saying sweet spice and pepper, so we may distinguish that. We'll see. And then cedar, which sometimes we just say woodiness if you can feel like a woody tone, but you don't know exactly what.
Woody.
As he referenced at one point in time, trying to figure out what geographical version of cedar tree that we were smoking.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Cigars had so much Just obscure random descriptions.
And
I don't know.
Sometimes it works. And we talked with
Cedar.
when I think it was Kevin Shahan's show from Cigar Prop when he came on. He was like, some of these guys, some guys have really distinct palates, and some guys are just full of shit. Not to throw trash anybody, but most people can't pull out 17 different flavors.
Well, how do you know it's not white oak? Like, how do we know it's cedar specifically?
Well, cedar is about.
Is it treated?
So
I mean,
the only ones that I can pull out every once in a while, I can pull a cedar. You know what?
I can smell cedar. Yeah.
Every once in a while, like I'll smell that.
I just built a freaking place set in my backyard that took me like 3 months to put together, and yeah, it was. My kid was sprinting into the place where I had all the things stored and would run out in the living room and be like, "Smell it!"
Yeah.
So yeah, I smelled a lot of cedar in the.
I can smell cedar. Sometimes I can smell hickory because, especially being in the South, we do a lot of grill it. So
that's fair.
The rest of it, it's just wood because I'm probably not going to pull it out.
Walnut.
Great
wood.
But let's start smoking these puppies.
Let's do it.
And got a little foot band, came off nice and easy. So he's got his straight cutter. He's doing a straight cut. I'm gonna do a V cut. This is a Robusto in size. We're gonna see if that makes a difference, especially since we are smoking side by side, old school style again. What? Let's light these and see what happens. Best part of the show here. It's a little dry outside, so this may. Okay, I thought it was gonna run and try to overtorch, so I've been really careful. Yeah, it's a very smoky hit.
Yeah. Gets you right in there.
Mm-hmm.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
So, first hit, definitely. I'm going to give them homage to this one. I get the red pepper right away. It's not... And we've talked about, you guys have heard us talk about, we reference the different colors of pepper in the sense of like brightness and strength. So your black, white, and red. Almost everybody out there knows what black pepper tastes like. That's your traditional. White pepper tends to be a little like sweeter sometimes. And red pepper is just your good like chili style. It's got a little bit more intensity to it. Mm-hmm. I agree with the red pepper because the first hit was a tingle on the tongue in a good way.
I can't tell if I'm getting spice or red pepper because, again, uncultured palate here, but I can get a little something.
Most cigars that have a pepper, if you're going to have an intensity hit, it's going to be pretty early on. Mm-hmm. And so I'm expecting, since they are considering this to be a medium smoke, expecting this red pepper to maybe back off a little bit and it maybe fall into that sweeter spice. We will see. Now this cigar, as I looked, was made in 4 vitolas, 4 sizes. Some of the websites said that they were no longer selling them, but at the time of this recording, I wasn't able to see if that's because they were just out of stock or did it get discontinued already. Considering I just got this less than a year ago, I would hope that it's not a discontinued item, but the cigar world changes constantly. So anything is possible. But it did say that this was available in 4 sizes. You've got the standard Robusto, your Toro, a Churchill, and they call it a Grand Toro. It's more or less a Gordo, about this much less wide than your normal side. I believe it was a 6x58. So your traditional 4 windows of opportunity there. This is the Robusto, since that's what I got in at that event. So we usually smoke some Toros on the show, but let's see what this does. So we're going to let this marinate for a little bit. We'll come back and hit it up like we usually do, see what happens after the first inch or so.
Yeah, I think I got the red pepper. It's coming on.
Get it? So in the world of cedar, I can smell it. I don't taste it yet, so we'll see. But with the cedar segue,
yeah.
Tell us about if it took months to build this playset. What kind of playset is this? This is like a 3-story mansion with a swing set.
Well, it probably shouldn't have taken months. This is to
have a helipad that you need to jump off of.
A function of
Don't do that, kids.
I have to find small periods of time to do things, but No, I had these grand ideas. We had an old
And by do things, he does not mean smoke cigars with his friends.
all things. All things.
All things.
I have literally had to get a digital calendar to plan my whole life. I put in there like clean out shed for 2 hours. Like, I have to. Anyway. It works, but not the preferred way to live if you want to be a little bit lower maintenance.
Not that they need to know or give two craps on the specifics, but yeah. I know you've had some, extra things put on your plate the last 6 months.
Work has been busier. That is true.
There are some things you're having to handle.
A 2.5-year-old and a 9-month-old, and they're getting ever more mobile and vocal. So
yeah. So if you go back to the shows last year where we had this man on, and the title of the show was "The Tiny Terrace" regarding his kid. Some reason him and his wife decided they needed a Tiny Terrace 2.0.
Well, we were hoping they would entertain each other. And that may one day be true, but it is not this day. To
right.
Quote Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Shout out, nerd.
But
no, it was this old play set that was there when we bought the house was kind of just like a single platform with one slide, a little swing. Nothing wrong with it, but it's kind of falling apart. Looked like it was 5-10 years old, and just kind of they didn't take care of it. So we had that hauled off, and the plan was to get a new one immediately. But then it was cold and wet outside, and Charlotte wasn't going outside anyway, and so we kind of shopped around, and I found one that was on sale and bought this thing that's it's basically like a small platform with like a little playhouse that has a little kitchenette thing inside, and there's like a staircase to a bigger platform that has another area, and there's 3 swings and a slide and a couple ladders, and it's
you may
awesome.
have to throw a picture up here. To
I'll get it. It's pretty cool.
We're gonna do that.
It's pretty cool. The thing that I probably would do differently, as much as I hate spending money, my wife was near killing me, rightfully so. But when you bought it, they're like, "Hey, for $1,000, we'll have someone come set it up for you." And I'm like,
"I got
no
this.
Fucking way! I'm spending $1,000 for someone to come put it together and do it as fast as possible. Not really give a shit if my kids come crashing through the floor."
That's fair.
So yeah, I probably was a little stubborn, a little bit cheap, and then a little bit sentimental. And I'm like, no, I want to do this with my hands, a thing that my kids are going to play on. And
Dad built this.
All that stuff. So yeah, so I mean, it arrived in 4 giant boxes, on a freaking cargo truck, and dropped by a forklift in my driveway. And it had, I think, 900 pieces between all the wood planks. And
this thing ain't no joke.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of assembly.
It's not like your playpen from the garden center at Walmart.
No, it's not plastic. It's mostly all wood and hardware. And so it took me probably, I don't know, 4 hours just to unload it, organize it, because they weren't piece 1, 2, 3. It's the get M63 board with A23 and find lug screw 007 and washer 015,
because there's just a ton of parts.
Yeah, and so it took me forever just to lay it out. So I have this sort of spare room office area in the front of the house, and I literally just took over the floor and all the cabinetry, and I put it in an outside folding picnic table with all the hardware on it. So that was the first chunk of time, and then I start following the instructions. That they came with an app, thankfully, so I don't have to flip through the paper book.
Okay, I'm going to stop you for this, because that tells you something. If you have a playset that comes with an app, was the app only to help you build it?
So it's called
Or is there
Built.
more to this?
The app was called Built, BILT, and then you basically put in your product thing. So I think they do this for a lot of different setups.
I mean, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That beats, as much as I love IKEA, that beats the pictures and the pointy guy.
You hit the next thing, and you can spin the thing. I had to replay the little animation 100 times to see is the screw going this way or that way through the board, and
yeah, it's crazy.
I had a few hiccups where I had to take it apart and flip something around because I didn't notice this pilot hole on the side they don't call attention to. But anyway, so I started building it, and I get through the first 100 steps. Because it was that many. It was 700, 400 steps or something. And I'm like, all right, I got this platform, and I've got this ladder, I've got a playhouse. And then I skipped ahead, and I was like, oh, that's the small platform.
Oh.
Shit. So I kind of assembled it in pieces, put a ladder together here, put a staircase together here, put a platform together here in my house. Because I didn't want it to get different stages of weathered. And then I have these double doors in my front door, so I measured, and anything that was going to be bigger than that, I had put together outside. So I basically got it to where like I was down at the last hall, and I spent a whole weekend putting together the big tall part, and it's finally done, and it looks great. But it took me I probably only worked on it about 5 or 6 times, but it took me 3 or 4 months to do that, to find time.
Little pieces.
Let me block off, 6 hours, because you rarely have that with kids and work and everything else. And anyway, that's a big rounding way to say that it sucked, and I'm glad it's done. But it looks great.
It looks great. It seems like you got one that should last for a while, and the girls will love. And And then within the first 2 weeks, she had a friend over, and my wife is like, "Hey, let's get some stamps. Y'all want to go draw on it with markers?" And I'm like, internally combusting, but I'm like, "Sure, they can do that. I will wash it off with a hose." Right.
But on the inside, I wanted to be like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?
It's brand new.
It looks so good. It's cedar.
It's cedar.
It smells great. Looks great. But it's fine. All that stuff, If it looks like shit in a year, I'll just paint it. It'll be fine. Anyway.
Speaking of cedar.
But yeah, that took up a lot of my life the last few months.
Speaking of cedar, the last couple pulls I can actually taste a little bit now.
You get there?
Red pepper has gone. I'm not going to say sweet spice, but I definitely get spice. It's like the baking spice kind of thing.
Okay.
It's more mellowed down. Earth is in most cigars, so I'll almost always agree to that. Anything that's, not a super light cigar. So I'm down with that.
I mean, it's made from leaves.
It is made from leaves, right?
There's some earth in there, right?
There's definitely there.
We come from the earth.
I'm not getting the toasted nuts yet. Oh yeah, what do you so as you can tell, I'm not that this will surprise anybody. Dr. Pepper. 23 flavors.
It's my steady.
You
can taste them all, right? With your refined palate.
So as I've mentioned,
is there cedar in there?
Ooh, it's probably flavor 23 or 21, 22. They threw it at the end.
No, that's the cocaine. Just kidding.
Oh,
just kidding.
That's why we love it.
Wrong drink.
Yeah, don't do that. That's completely just a joke, YouTube. Chill out.
It's a Coca-Cola, friends. Relax.
It is.
How dare you?
I referenced a while back. A lot of times we'll drink. Dr. Pepper works great for cigars, right? I don't know if it's just as simple because it has all these extra flavors, or if it's the molasses base that works with. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it works
just strong enough
cigars
without overpowering your profile.
And I told the OGs on I forget if it was just Chad or Justin or Ferran was on there. I forget, but I was telling them about a while back. I was at work standing next to Audrey, and one of the other coworkers came up, and I'll say her name because I said it. One of the other coworkers came up and was like, "Why are you guys always drinking Dr. Pepper?" And then simultaneously, we just all yelled 23 flavors.
Yeah.
And so now anytime I bring up Dr. Pepper, Chad will usually yell on the show, 23 flavors.
Good.
But it's a thing, man. It works. I don't get it.
When I work my nights, I start at 5 o'clock with a OG Monster, the one that tastes like diesel.
Yep.
Because it makes me go slow, and I only drink one. And then about 10 or so, when I'm done with that from nursing it, I get a 20-ounce DP from the vending machine, and
I'm cranking Dr. Pepper.
That's how it works.
All night long, which I probably should mix that up with some water better.
I can quit anytime I want, okay?
Yeah.
I have it totally under control.
But I don't wanna.
Yeah.
So in normal fashion, if y'all are new to the show, you don't know this yet, but Brett has statistically been a slower smoker than me, which is very, it's a good thing. It'd be funny putting you up with Justin, one of the OGs, because he's just now learning to slow the hell down.
Yeah.
So that would have been an interesting marathon. But
I'm also prone to having to relight because, again, noob. And
see if you can see it. So
yeah.
It's got a smaller ring gauge, so I'm gonna have to tap it here in a minute. But it's got some good lines there going, so it's holding up nicely for its size. And I'm gonna have to look real quick. I'm not sure if this is a true 5-inch or this may, because I didn't look. It may be more like a 4.5. It doesn't feel quite like a full length.
Let's call it 8.
Let's call it 8.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Solid 8 inches.
Totally 8 inches. Don't ask questions.
Let's see. Where can I find? Here we go. So
I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
It says it's a full 5 inches. It just didn't feel like it. So it says the 5x50.
What did it feel like? Was it girthy enough for you?
It was not girthy enough. Maybe
that's
the problem.
That might have helped if it was short, but wider. That might have helped.
So Most likely.
Best to ignore me. He's got the right idea finally.
Good thing Derek's not here. I wouldn't be able to. So I actually got him on a recording with Chad.
Nice.
I don't know if you caught that one because of how busy you've been. You probably haven't been able to watch anything lately.
I'm like 3 months behind everything in life: emails, shows, podcasts.
But we
bills.
I got him. Yeah, the bills are the one thing we have to.
They come after you.
Stupid adulting. But we got him on the show with Chad. Got to throw him on a remote session. That was kind of cool. So
was he in the park or they back?
Oh no, he just said screw it when he was in his backyard.
Yeah, good.
He finally just said
suck it, landlord.
Yeah, that's a whole pet peeve of mine. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know how you can.
I don't understand.
You outside.
You can tell me not to smoke inside a rent house, but you're gonna tell me I can't smoke outside.
You know what he should just do? He should just go sit on the sidewalk. It's a public easement. It's not part of the property. The lease does not apply. Just put up a lawn chair on the sidewalk. There you go. Lawyered.
Yep, pretty much.
Lawyered.
Well, HOAs would be in trouble if people actually. Anyway, we're not going to get on that. We're not.
Hashtag cop videos on Instagram.
Right.
Can keep you scrolling for hours on end. Guilty.
Let you show up to my house and ring my doorbell and tell me something, boy.
All these clowns with cameras are like, my First Amendment rights.
I
mean, it's true, and a lot of the cops do dumb shit.
Yes.
But a lot of these guys are really annoying. So I have mixed feelings. It's a video by video judgment on whose side I'm on.
It really is, because even in a quote unquote professional profession, that didn't come out right.
Yeah,
it did. A professional profession.
Totally.
Like we said this in the Marine Corps, and I say it now against my fellow Leos. There's always the shitty 10%.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's the shitty 10% that makes the other 90% look like trash.
There are jobs where you can fake it till you make it. And I don't think being a police officer is one of them.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's the problem, is a lot of them do. You know, I don't think most people have ill intent. But they're like, oh, I can do X, Y, Z. And you're like, well, that's not actually legal.
Right.
You can't do that. You know?
You need to know what you can do and what you're allowed to do.
You can't photograph this public building. I'm like, it's stupid that you want to do that, but you can do that. There are
very, very few public properties that you can't film. And we're talking like federal stuff, It's a federal building.
If you can see it,
there was this place in San Diego downtown, and I'm trying to remember the name of the mall, but it didn't really look like a mall. It was a mall, but you walked inside and it was like 4 stories. It was very artistically built architecture. It was really cool. So people always came pictures, but that building had been protected. I forget if it was under the national parks or the museums. There was some federal stamp. So like they would come tell you, and they would be nice about it, like, hey, unfortunately you can't film here, but they would tell you why, or whatever. That's a very rare case. Most cases,
that's probably a matter of being like in their private property parking lot.
Right.
If you're like on the sidewalk 300 yards away, your picture's gonna suck. But they can't tell you can't take a picture of something you can see from public.
Right. So there's very few cases where you can't. Anyway. Public domain and stuff. But
we don't have to stick on this diatribe here, but
yeah, it's a pedestal we'll get off.
It's just funny.
Anyways,
empty doom scrolling at night.
It hadn't been a helicopter fly by all day. I don't know if y'all are gonna pick it up. Now that we're recording,
they will now. Oh
no, that's a prop plane. That's closer. That's a prop plane. That's moving too fast. No, start. Nope, there it is. That's a helicopter.
Yeah, it's a chopper.
It's just echoing weird. So
take them that way.
Once it gets close enough, that's definitely a Bell, not an Airbus. I won't get nerdy on that one, but we're hearing enough helicopters over here. Enough helicopters over here. You get close enough, I can tell you the different brand by the rotor wash.
Yeah, my dad had a pilot's license when he was younger, and when I was growing up, he would just stand outside and look up at a plane and be like, "Oh, that's a Boeing." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "It's cool to know that." I would take your word for it. I have no fucking idea.
I can do it better with helicopters because that's what I worked on in the Corps.
Yeah.
I can do it with some planes, but helicopters a little bit better. I don't know. If you're a Marine or Army vet, I worked on the CH-46, which is the C-Knight, called the Frog. Or if you're in the Army, the Chinook, it's big, very similar brother. The CH-47, they both have twin rotors up top, and they sound different. It gives you this very nostalgic, warm and fuzzy feeling. I don't understand it. I don't understand why it's a thing, but it's a thing. So, like
You
a
know,
few
a
months ago.
pleasing sound to you might be a trigger for someone else. Like, oh god,
Exactly. Right.
don't take me back.
We, in this area, it's Air Force prominent region, so we don't get a lot of snooks or frogs around this area unless they're doing puddle jumps or refueling or whatever. And it's been about 6 months ago, maybe a year. I was sitting out here smoking and heard one come on. I shit you not, I heard it. I stopped what I was doing to go outside and be this guy. And that was it, just because I heard it. And I was like, why are you in my area? Thank you for the blessing.
Yeah. It's like you see all the old dads in the neighborhood like supervising heavy machinery, like they know what they're doing. Like there's a backhoe doing some road work, and you got 10 dads, hands on their hips,
khakis and white New Balances.
Yeah, he really should be turning it this way.
Like, hey,
I'm working on my skills, but I'm not to that level yet. I don't go out and supervise construction workers yet.
There's still time. He's still got flip flops on. We're not to white New Balance yet.
I have a pair. I do have a pair. I wore them to the delivery room of my first kid.
I mean, I
had to have a tucked in white tee as well, and some very faded washed denim.
Did you go all out and wear the tube socks, or were they regular ankle socks?
They were like mid calf.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they were like all the way up to the knee, because I don't think I could tolerate that in this heat. But
I can't do tall socks
I had two summer kids.
Unless I got like boots on, like work boots.
Yeah.
I got tennis shoes on. You see, I've got on. Well, y'all can't see. He can see. I'm back to ankle socks. Like I can't. Yeah. But that's a. Speaking of the dads, I got to remember this guy's name. But have you seen those Facebook reels and TikToks? The guy, and he's probably in his 60s, white hair, and he's got his sons that are probably upper 20s or 30s, and they're like becoming dads, doing the skits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Is that the one where the guy's like, I need a cable that's roughly this long and has this adapter? And he's like, I've got it. And he runs to his box he's been storing for like 30 years. He's got this one little perfect match.
The stuff your wife says, you don't need that. I'm going to need it one day. And then 23 years later, there it is.
You're like, I knew it. Still probably better just to toss it.
That's the dad laugh. Yeah. Dad jokes. Love it.
I'm still working on my game. There's an older guy at work who every time I see him is like, I got one for you. They're oddly mostly cow related for some reason.
Interesting.
Do you want to hear? I got a couple that I remember from the last couple weeks.
Okay, let's
what do you call a cow that has seizures?
Cow that has seizures.
Beef jerky.
Oh my god.
Terrible, right?
Terrible.
But also amazing.
It's amazing because it's terrible.
Yeah. What do you
Oh, there's more.
What do you call a cow that's got loose floppy udders? Udders. Got long, just worn out, lots of babies. They're just dragging the ground.
I feel like a really bad OB joke coming.
Dragon milk.
That's worse than I thought.
I'll stop here. They've probably you've at least lost 50% of the viewers. They're I can't do this. I'm just repeating what I heard. It's not my fault. I'm just the messenger here. Okay. Get off me.
Oh my goodness. It's not what the cow said. That's why they're sick. Anyway. Moving on. So I'm looking at my shot here. Shame on me for not. I always try to get better about telling you guys the price. So in the completely unrelated, I know, but we're gonna come back to the cigar. In the Robusto size, a 10-pack is around $70. So you're looking at about $7 a stick here, which is probably accurate if you know the La Aurora brand.
Is that Spanish for the Aurora?
The Aurora. You seen the movie Passengers?
Yes.
The Aurora.
Oh, yeah.
Which actually, now that I think about it, we did look up that La Aurora is basically the dawn in Spanish. And that's actually, wow.
It's almost like they chose that on purpose.
Right. If you haven't seen the movie Passengers, that makes sense.
That's the one with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
Gets stuck on the
Michael Sheen as the butler guy.
Yeah.
Robot there.
So
underrated.
Naming her Aurora is that's incredible, and I just realized that connection. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil the movie.
The human race.
Right. Great movie.
Chris Pratt's
actually.
a dick.
There's not many movies that are really good when you only have 2 to 3 actors in the entire movie. That's one of them. They did it pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
So, little free
Shout out.
cinematic shout out.
Shout out. Not that they need our help or anything. I think they're both very, very well off.
Right. They're not.
They can afford a couple boxes of these.
They can afford a couple boxes of these. The Tours and the Gordos are just a couple dollars more per stick, so you're right there in the $7 to the $9 range there. So, but La Aurora has some really good premium blends, in the $20-$30 range. That this is a brand that I do think some of their $30 sticks are worth it. Some brands I do not. So this is a brand if you know. Worth trying into. This is more, I guess you would say their midline. It's not a budget stick, but it's more of a standard, I'll say a core line. So anyway, good stick. And roughly about the halfway point now, I get little pings of pepper mixed in with the spice. And like I said, normally it's kind of a spice or a pepper thing. I understand why that reviewer said both, because I'm getting the baking spice, and every once in a while you get this like pop of pepper and backs off.
I was debating whether to share my thought with you because it was accidentally disgusting. Again, savage.
Let's do it.
So I took a sip of my beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, it's totally fine. And then burped right after, and the mixed taste of those two things. This is really gross. I think I got the wood. I was like, that's a little theory. And I was like, I shouldn't say it.
Is it gastric wood?
But like, I don't know. It just, it tasted like that little, that strong, y'all know what cedar smells like.
Right, right.
85% of taste is olfaction.
And so the one that you're hitting is Ghost Machine.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. We're going to talk about it. So I don't know that one. Is that more of a local thing that I'm unaware of?
Yeah, it's a hazy IPA from Parish Brewing, which is out of Broussard, Louisiana.
Okay.
So that's south of Lafayette, if there's any locals.
Okay, yeah.
Was that one good?
Is that one that you knew of before, or is it more of a recent discovery?
I've been drinking that since I was in college. So it's
okay.
It's been 15, 20 years.
I'm surprised
I was in college 17 years ago. I look better than I should. Beep beep, not to toot my own horn.
That's actually fair.
Beep beep. But funny story. I don't know if you had mentioned this, but back in Mardi Gras a few months ago, I shaved my beard for the first time.
I don't think I have yet.
Since 2018. And then I went with a stash in public for the first time ever because I went as Freddie Mercury to our Mardi Gras crew.
Don't worry, I have these pictures.
Right, and I guess you can throw one up.
I'm going to throw it up.
I think I did pretty well.
You did pretty well.
But when I have baby face, I shrink 10 years in age. So it's all part of my secret plan that when I hit 50, I'm just going to shave the beard and I'm going to drop back down to 38.
It's like, dang, you're starting to look old.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, this used to be really hard to find because it was kind of a limited thing. And we would drive to a bunch of stores.
I'm surprised
it's everywhere.
If you've had this in my presence, I would imagine I would like to say I remember because that, screw this.
You know what? Yeah, go ahead.
This image is just pretty cool.
It's a hot brain.
Like, there, you can see it that way. It looks cool, so I would think I would remember that.
I probably, I usually get the 4-pack of cans, and I have my 16-ounce Yeti koozie.
So it might have been
probably been hiding.
That's fair.
Because that thing keeps stuff cool for 7 hours. So I put all my monsters in to fuel my kidney failure.
Agreed.
So.
And the explanation of the Mardi Gras reference is we're in the crew of Jim and I. By now, anybody knows Northwest Louisiana. So we're both on the same float. And our theme this past year was Dreamcatcher. And the intent for all the individual floats was different dreams that you might have wanted to grow up to be. So you had the police and the firefighters. You had the fighter pilot. You had the scientists. We were rock stars. And so instead of matching, we all agreed that each one of us was going to be a different rock star. About half of the float was specific people. The other half was generic to showcase the ones who are doing specific people. So I was one of the generics because I was running the sound system, so I was back and forth. he planned this so far in advance to make sure
I
that
called dibs on Freddie within seconds of
like,
theme announcement.
our group chat, we talked about it and instantly,
Yeah.
and so he was able to plan to make sure that all this was nice and full. So when he shaved it, he had a nice solid.
You know, funny story. I didn't tell anyone this. I waited, so I worked the night before, and then we had to be up at the staging area by like 10.
Something like that, yeah.
So I get home at like 9 o'clock, and I'm like quickly putting on the outfit that I spent way too much money on with these like specific Levi jeans, which is funny story. I didn't know they don't come with a zipper. I looked up the brand that Freddie Mercury actually wore at the Live Aid concert in the 80s, and they had 6 buttons but no zipper.
No zipper.
So I was struggling with my fupa hanging out.
It's not as popular anymore. It's still there, but it's not as popular. But there's still button jeans.
I had the white classic Adidas kicks. I had the little armband, the studded belt, the wife beater, all that stuff. But I was going to shave that morning, so it looked the freshest. And I realized I haven't shaved in 7 years. I don't own shaving cream.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I was like, soap?
Because I'm sure all you've got is beard trimmers now forever.
Yeah, I have this like post-shave stuff that like I trim the bottom here and like the cheeks, obviously.
Right.
So I used that, and it did not work well, and I ripped my fucking beard out in a non-pleasant manner.
Ooh.
But thankfully my face was not, red with a giant rash and all that stuff, because that would have been a whole nother problem if I looked like I would have been caught some kind of illness, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, right.
But no, yeah, it was a torturing experience, but it looked great. I think it looked great. There was lots of drunk people going, Friday!
It worked. They knew exactly who you were. It worked off well.
The thing I didn't think about was that once we ride, we're obviously, covered up from like abdomen down so we don't fall out of the float. So no one could see anything other than like the white tank top and my hair and mustache. And I was like, man, I hope they get it.
And that was enough for people to get it.
Because like you couldn't see the jeans, you couldn't see the shoes, the belt, like all the things that are like kind of iconic Freddie Mercury.
Right. Well,
maybe if I had gone with the yellow neon jacket that he wore with that other famous outfit, that probably would have done it. But
I know I'm ahead of you. I'm gonna take this.
Yeah, I'm talking. I'm yapping.
All right, I see it. We're gonna hope this isn't gonna do this because, sorry, my finger's a little ripped up right now. Mechanic issues. Oh, it wasn't bad. I had a little pop. That's tolerable. We routinely talk about rappers who the glue goes far, and that's tolerable. It was just I don't know if that's even going to show. Why do I still try to do this like it's going to focus? Oh, of course, as soon as I say it, a little bitty hit right there. Tolerable. I'll work with that. Some rip off the whole wrapper, and that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But man,
it's good.
It is. Slight bit of transitions, but I do stress slight, and that earthy undertones pretty much stay consistent. I still can't say a sweet spice. I get spice. I'm not getting anything sweet whatsoever, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be like flavored vanilla or anything, but some sort of.
If it was, I wouldn't pick it up anyway. So.
I mean, your palate has still
swine problems.
Your palate has still increased just from the first time we ever smoked together. I mean,
that's probably fair.
And that's just a matter of doing it and talking about it and realizing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't get the sweet. Very consistent draw, very good burn. I mean, that's like a 4 out of 5 on the burn right there.
It is very symmetric, concentric, whatever the right word is.
Ooh, concentric. That's a good word.
Yeah. Yeah. You got like a little nipple in the middle there.
Right. Which is actually kind of what you want. Like that's almost a perfect burn. Better technically than mine. You get just a slight almost TP-ish in the middle. That's
totally by accident if there's anything I did right.
Well, what that shows is that it's very well rolled, very well constructed. So that, in my opinion, is a throwback.
He's saying it's idiot proof. Like not even someone like me can mess it up. That's basically. I appreciate the backhanded compliment. I'll take it.
I mean, you could. You have to work hard at it.
Shout out the Aurora.
Right.
Well done.
Let's see. I didn't even look. I know it's in the Aurora usually makes some of their own. I don't know if they used a secondary factory for this one or not, but their stuff is usually pretty good on construction and quality and consistency. So that is a pretty good homage to the factory, the roller, and actually having an adequate amount of tobacco. Because you can have one that's constructed well, but it doesn't quite have enough leaf and it burns weird because it's a little too airy. This is not doing that. This is very well put together, unlike us.
Yeah, I honestly kind of got out the house a little bit late, and this is supposed to be a lounging around the house shirt. I wore this once at 4th of July. I have a astronaut with dibs on the moon for America.
Astronaut, that was another one of the Mardi Gras.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Throwback to it's now been a few weeks now, but that'd only be better if it was a female astronaut. Recent current events.
What am I missing?
Katy Perry.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know, so that is
Kiss
ironic.
the ground for your 9-minute excursion.
There were I'm not throwing any shade whatsoever. I just find it ironic the way that we do pop culture in America. There was it 6 women? Is that right?
Yeah, it was
the
like
number?
Gail, Opus friend Gail King was there. There was Bezos's girlfriend, wife, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Current wife.
Katy
Perry.
The current struggle I'm having is there were 6 women. I remember reading the original story, but it turned into the Katy Perry crew. Every time it was referenced, Katy Perry and her fellow astronauts. It was always...
I think astronaut's probably a really aggressive term for what happened.
Technically...
They were passengers on a luxury joyride,
right.
Which I'm jealous I'm not rich enough to do. Full stop.
And
good for them for like going into fucking space. That's awesome.
Well, if you're a conspiracy theorist, because I can't prove or deny this.
They went right to the edge.
Well, have you seen the video of when Jeff opened the capsule?
No.
If you're into and I don't have the full video at the time.
Me. Let's do it.
Let's
spread unfounded rumors.
I'm not going to overlay this one because it's circling too much. I know it would get copyrighted, so just go look it up. But so as you know, space capsules have to, once you land, it has to be open from the outside because of the pressure.
Yes.
So tell me, in the same video, somebody holding up their cell phone behind him, how come the door opens up on its own from the inside? You see the assistant go up there and do this. The door magically shuts, and then about 30 seconds later, he goes and gets the handle and opens the door again. It's right.
Interesting.
Now, there's 2 possibilities. It could be that the conspiracy is accurate and they never left the ground. It was all staged and all that thing. Or it could be that they still did the thing and they opened the door and somebody's like, oh shit, we forgot to film it, and they staged the repeat.
That's probably what it was.
That is a possibility too. So I can't say either one. They're both solid possibilities.
He's got so much money, he could have probably put in some like click your app and it unlocks the latch.
Right.
I mean, like, let's not put that past a guy who has $300 billion or whatever.
So I don't have enough detail and info on this one to say 100% it's conspiracy, but I also can't say it's not.
They probably went very high in the atmosphere. I don't know if they left the atmosphere.
They may have just got enough out of the stratosphere to qualify as being astronauts. Because I think that's where the point.
Space.
Yeah.
Not outer space, just regular space.
Regular space.
Is there? There's probably a difference.
Orbital space, I think, is a. There is a term for it. I'm not 100%. Yeah. This is where we would need Matt, because Matt is a NASA dude, so he loves NASA shit. Who also you haven't seen on the show in a hot minute because he completely changed his work schedule. He is 100%. You know, I'm a night shifter. His schedule goes back and forth, which makes it tricky. Matt just went straight days, so me and him are both sleeping at different times of the day. So
he's not sleeping much either. He just joined the Dad Joke crew.
He did just join the Dad Joke crew. You know, he got
congrats, big dog.
Got him a little one. Still crawling around. She ain't running
buckle
around.
Up.
Not
she
running
ain't
around.
Crawling.
She ain't crawling yet. She's getting close, but she's not.
They ain't crawling.
They ain't crawling. It's a she, right?
No.
Is it he?
It's a boy.
It's a boy? Dude, my bad.
That's all right.
I'm thinking of...
you know what?
I look at you...
Who knows? Maybe they'll decide what they want to be in 12 years. And let's not go any further on that one.
My problem is I looked at you and I thought of crawling and I thought of your little one, so that's where the she came from.
Oh, yeah. My
apologies.
My youngest is a landfill for food, which is totally opposite. And then my oldest, who eats like 4 items of what you could call food: cheese, chicken nuggets, french fries, noodles and rice. That's about it. Maybe grilled cheese,
right?
Because it's sort of cheese adjacent. And tacos. She does like tacos.
Oh, that's my girl.
Anyway, she'll go, I want tacos.
Uncle Pat's gonna
take. She says, I want all the foods. That means Chinese buffet. We had that for lunch.
You know what? Uncle Pat knows what to do. Chinese food and tacos.
That's right. Anyway, but so my youngest, we literally put a piece of like broccoli on the floor, like clean floor. Hang on, don't call CPS. And she figured out how to put her knee up under her and lunge, and we're like, okay. So we started setting little food items in front of her, and in the past week, she's literally started pulling up both knees, and she's not full on crawling yet, but
Food is a positive motivator.
She can make it 4 feet in about 30 seconds, which is pretty efficient for a 9-month-old, I think.
Yes, but there's food.
Yeah, she has a lot. We have found her motivation.
It's all it
She
is.
is a landfill. Like anything, she'll eat anything.
Speaking of choosing your gender, I can't think of this guy. It's not a comedian I know very well, but the joke was funny. All I know is in the skit he said that him and his wife have fertilization issues. So they were doing IVF. And if I can think of this dude's name, I'll throw it up. But I can't for the life of me think of what it is. And he was talking about, he's like, I told my wife that if we do IVF, he's like, the cool thing about IVF is because, you fertilize the egg outside, so you can select your gender because you're picking what you're putting in there, right?
Yeah.
He's like, so if I'm going to spend,
it's kind of eugenics-y a little bit.
it is, but he's like, if I'm spending $30,000, and we're selecting the gender,
make it to order.
He goes, there's no returns on the gender policy. He's like, I pay for a boy, I'm keeping a boy, you're gonna be a boy.
Does it really work that way?
He's like, so.
I mean, if you want to think of a way to make your kid hate you, it's like, you don't get to choose things for yourself.
It's like, man.
But it's a good joke.
It is a good joke. I thought it was hilarious.
It's like, or you could just pay me back with interest, and you can do whatever you want, I guess.
I think. Oh, that's what he said. He's like, if you feel like changing, you owe me $30,000. He said something like that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny because I've never heard it stated in that.
I mean, it's a solid premise for a joke. I'll give him that. That's funny.
So, anyway, that's all we're saying on that because we don't do politics.
It's dangerous. We're in the danger zone.
So I'm not going to tell you which way I think because that's not what the show's about. I just thought it was a funny thing. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's move on.
That's fine.
You know what? If
I have a general rule in life, which is don't be a dick. And if what you're doing makes you a dick, then do something else. So
fairly simple.
Making choices for other people kind of makes you a dick.
It does.
Anyway, now we'll move on. I'm gonna get canceled.
You know what?
Reverse canceled.
Reverse canceled.
I'm gonna get called woke.
Woke. I've said this before that we stay off of politics. Most of our stuff is joke related. So every once in a while we slip in something, but most of the time we're here to have fun and make fun.
Normally it's just lots of phallic jokes.
It is.
And like innuendos.
So you can't honestly.
Innuendos.
You honestly cannot take anything that we say as believing that is our stance on.
I am
almost
a cynic.
Anything.
I'm a cynic and a sarcastic asshole 89.3% of my life.
It's what we do. It's why we're friends.
It's more entertaining that way.
That's probably the start of our friendship because we both have some dark, screwed up humor. Some of it that we cannot say on a public format, but it's probably where the bond started.
Yeah.
So just fucked up.
You're kind of a horrible person too. I like it.
I love it.
Let's hang out. Let's do it.
But I say all that because I used to say early on that I was going to get canceled, but then I look back and it's now been over 40 episodes since we had Woot on the air and we have not gotten canceled. And if any show was going to hit the algorithm and cancel us, it'd be the ones with him. So you have an Army veteran or an Army Ranger veteran that literally probably should have died in at least 3 specific scenarios, and he didn't.
Playing with house money.
Exactly. So
can't touch me.
He no longer, he hasn't cared for a long time, but he doesn't care. But it makes for some of the funniest content as long as you have thick skin, you don't get offended, because most of the time he's going to say something, and he may not actually believe that way, but he's going to say it because it makes for some very funny shit.
I heard this really, I don't love Ricky Gervais, but he had this really good quote that I read, or this like little meme video, whatever you want to call it. He was talking about people getting offended by jokes. He's like, no joke is inherently offensive. He's like, what people should say is instead of I'm offended, it's I feel offended. So that's the same as saying like my leg hurts. He's like, that's fine. That's a you issue, right? If I say something that offends you, you are feeling offended. That's your issue. Right. And if I want to be nice and apologize for making you feel that way, that's fine. But I'm not expected to do that, right? And I kind of like that. You shouldn't walk around trying to offend people and hurt people's feelings in general. But if someone takes something the wrong way, like, if you don't care about that person's feelings, then just keep moving.
It's like, even in the world of comedy, every comedian has a different type of tinge because they build their platform towards a certain market. You know, if you like dark humor, I'm going to speak to you. Yeah. If you get offended by dark humor, you know how you fix this? Go listen to a different comedian.
I mean, man's got a point.
you're not expected to like everybody. Just like I don't expect you to like every brand of soda. I don't expect you to like every type of pizza. Some people like pineapple. Some people like anchovies. Some people like cheese only. I'm not expecting you to like
Those
every brand of
people are-
pizza. I'm not expecting you to like every political move. I'm not expecting you to like every comedian, like
or every cigar.
or every cigar.
We had a dud.
We had a
on one of our
dud.
episodes.
So since you've been here, ironically,
You had
the
not a
only
dud?
no, the only dud. So we talk about this on the show about being a homeboy review, right? That the reason we don't, we give a little few pointers, and then we want to see what we feel about it. But I tell you to go smoke them. The one that we had a dud, and then before you came, I had one that was trash. That was with me, Johnny Bravo, and Woot. Well, the one with Johnny Bravo and Woot, we were struggling to find anything positive. We just kept saying it tasted like a grave. Fast forward 2
It's
years.
very earthy.
Oh,
It's 6 feet down earthy.
I was trying to come up with a positive way to express this earthiness and like deep, intense folding.
It's got worm flavors.
This was like episode 5 or 7. It was the Black Crown Menace. But since then, almost 2 years to the date of that recording, Chad had one and he loved it. And me and Chad have very similar profiles. The exact same cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him usually have similar profiles. So I don't know if either one, we got an entirely bad bundle.
Did you try another one?
I have not. I probably should do
Maybe
that.
y'all
To be
should
honest,
light one up together and come to some kind of consensus. I guess you don't have to be a consensus, but
that might not be a bad
maybe
idea.
the batch we got was a dud.
It is very possible. So, and like one of the duds that we had, is that the one, Derek, right?
I think so.
I think it was Derek. So,
because he had opinions. Matt was like me. He didn't really have many opinions.
He didn't.
We were both similar.
It was the Nika.
Similarly
It
novice.
was the Nika. I think it was the Nika Libre Maduro. Anyway, but he's had one since because I sent him it was there because I sent him a 5-pack after Move was like, here, try these again on me and see what you think. And he hasn't had another issue, so maybe he just got a dud.
Yeah,
it can happen. So even if you hate a cigar, I should probably smoke the Black Crown Menace, which I had a few then. Maybe I did just get a bad bundle. Maybe I should try it again with Chad and we'll do a repeat show. That's actually not a bad idea.
A lemon.
So
Had flavors of lemon. Yeah.
You never know.
It's a good practice in life to try everything at least twice.
It is.
But that's what I do with food. I wouldn't say I'm picky anymore. I used to be, but I have all these people who are like, "Oh, you haven't had." The famous example is Brussels sprouts. People who love Brussels sprouts are like culty.
And
you haven't had my Brussels sprouts. But every time it's like, well, I put in sausage and bacon, and they taste like this. I'm like, my argument's always like, well, I'll just go eat that thing. Like if I want it to taste like bacon, I'll eat bacon.
Yeah,
right? Like it's a
why
flavor.
Your Brussels sprouts are good because you made it so that it doesn't taste like Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. I just but I try them like every couple years. I'll try them again. I'll try anything I don't like. I'll try it every few years to see because there have been some things like I used to like liver and onions. So my dad loves that. I can't stand that shit now.
Yep.
And I've had things go the other way where I didn't like it, but now I do. And I would never eat asparagus and broccoli now. I mean, I don't love them, but I'll eat them.
I like asparagus, but it's got a very tight window.
Yeah. I'll eat
it
like
can either
3.
be too crunchy or too mushy. It's got a very
I don't want more than like 3 of them.
But your palates change, which is
yeah,
same here.
So yeah,
I mean,
be an adult, try it again. If it sucks twice, it probably sucks.
Right. So same concept.
2 points of data are always better than 1.
It's just I should probably use my own advice and actually go try that again. But it's just it gave me such a bad taste.
Let's run it back. You want to remix it?
Let's do it.
We can remix it.
We'll do that one, and we might can do it and get Chad on with us since he actually liked it, and we'll see if we all get.
We can have a debate.
Let's
make it a different format.
We should be
like, man, let's get nasty and start insulting everyone.
So with our current schedules, you may not see this happen for another year.
That'll be in probably like fall, like September of 25, maybe.
Maybe
November.
We'll try it. So we may do this. I'll let Chad know. We'll do that
for 6 months from now.
Well, right. We'll do it. Let's do that. That's actually a really good idea. We'll see what happens. But
I have those on like twice a year occasions. It's very rare.
But anyway, it's about time to wrap up this glorious show. I have nothing bad to say about this one since we're talking about cigars that don't work. To me, this had that first hit of red pepper. Since then, it's been more of a spice. I'm getting that wood tone, and I get the cedar. I'm getting the cedar more aromatically than I do on the palate, and then that hit of red pepper just comes back to get its intensity, but it doesn't get harsh to me at any point. So
It's definitely a smooth, easy one.
It is an easy
not-
one. I agree with the medium
It
strength.
is. There's a lot of smoke. It is
Lot of smoke.
It is a lot of smoke.
Which
I feel like there's been some clouds over my face a few times.
Oh yeah, I pulled a Derek and looked at the camera a lot. I do that a lot in homage to him, so 100%. But medium, maybe medium full, both body and strength. It's a very good cigar. If you want flavor, but you don't want an overbearing intensity. La Aurora Corojo, also called the 1962 Corojo. I've seen it listed both ways. Seems to be a very good way to go. So, any hits differently? Anything you didn't taste that I mentioned, or?
I mean, like I said, just the one accidental burp. But yeah, I didn't get the cedar except for on accident. I'm not gonna do it on purpose again.
Could you smell it at all, or just nothing at all?
I mean, probably. I mean, I don't know if I'm smelling like the spice or the cedar's kind of. I don't know if you could describe it as like a spicy smell, but it's kind of
a
like
bright tone to it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very distinct smell. So I don't smell like I'm in a Lowe's,
right?
But
not in the lumber yard.
Funny enough, Lowe's is acquiring a design company. I saw that article the other day to try to compete with Home Depot. Is what the article said. So I thought they were already competitive, but maybe not.
I thought they were. Anyway, that's interesting. I'll have to look that up. But
that's another discussion. Are you a Lowe's or a Home Depot guy? Or that's a argument for.
That is, and there's
lots of DIYers.
Either way. But another good show. I'm glad we finally got you in person. Now, full disclosure, he hasn't been on the show in
months, since 24 at least.
6-7 months, something like that, maybe even longer. I've lost track. We did try to get him once before. We actually recorded the show and we had a technical failure. So technically, he should have been on the show earlier this winter-ish.
Yeah,
and it was
around the holidays, I think.
That one wasn't his fault. That was my fault on a technological error. So, but. We got him back on the show, and we've got another one coming up soon that we've planned to bring him back around, so hopefully that holds true. Then maybe we can figure out this schedule thing. Anyway, but again, La Aurora 1962 Corojo, give it a shot. I think it's a good, solid cigar, and we'll let everybody out there get back to adulting, get back to your real world where you're not listening to us ramble anymore. But thanks. Sorry, it's what we do. But thanks for hanging out with us, listening. You got any questions, comments, or as I've recently said, or you got hate mail, send an email to thehollowdown@gmail.com, or you can like on or comment on this video down below or your show notes wherever you're listening to this at. But until next time, y'all stay safe and hollow down. Word.
And as always, go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego. Anchorman is back.
Yes. There is a certain generation of men who will always quote Anchorman till their death. I think I am in that one. We can't help it. It's just who we are at this point.